know, unfortunately, Basingstoke won't be in the league next year, but then having to go into Basingstoke where, you know, there's a game that we played there that there was no lines painted.
Oh, wow.
So you're trying to figure out, okay.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, okay, well, now not only you're thinking about the game, but you're thinking, am I offside? I don't know where the blue line is. So, like,
What the hell? Are you being serious?
Where are they going to drop the puck? Because there's no line.
You played a game without any lines on the ice?
We had to.
That's one. What else have you experienced in the UK that just would not fly in Canada or the US?
Rink being held up by scaffolding.
Getting dressed in a shipping container.
No.
That's Basingstoke.
Same rink.
Are you serious? Showing it this off. I don't want to happen.
Always a bit of a glare.
Beat me to it. Here, you want this one?
Let me get makeup, boys.
Get rid of the shine. Is that better for you, Gary?
Do we want to get the
Less
window?
shiny.
Yeah.
Should we get the window cleaner back for you?
Hey guys, Chris from Hockey Tutorial here. Today you join us with Tommy and Matt of the Everyone Active Raiders. We're filming in Cambridge at the Cambridge Wine Merchants, and what I wanted to do in this video is kind of go over some of the things that if you are an imported player or you're considering becoming one, that you should know based off of Matt's experience, and just kind of like shedding a little bit of light into it, because if you look online, you look on YouTube, there's very little information about what the life of a player that goes from one country to another to play for a team. So I thought it would be good to just have a chat with you and see what that's been like. Now, in terms of your past, because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering what your playing career's been like, where you're from, how you got to the Raiders. Are you able to shed a little bit of insight into that for me, mate?
Yeah, so I guess I grew up playing in Winnipeg my whole life, back in Canada. And then I moved on to junior, where I played in Steinbach for 2 years. Then Humboldt for 2 years in Saskatchewan, so kind of played a bit of junior everywhere, and then went on to play 4 years of U Sports and Canadian College, and then finished last season in the East Coast with Atlanta, and then came out here for this year.
How did that process work? So how do you even get hit up about moving from North America to play hockey in the UK?
So I had an agent that kind of reached out to different teams in different countries and kind of, you know, got a good sense of what was available, and then I kind of made my decision off of that. So I think obviously having a well-connected agent definitely helps a lot to come from Canada over here.
Yeah. Okay, and what I think the big question is, what's the playing style and level like compared to where you were playing to the UK? Because at a glance, I think everyone would agree, obviously North America plays a lot higher a level of hockey, but what is it like actually playing in North America and then coming to the UK and playing here, to see what the difference is like for yourself?
It's different. It's different. It's a different playing style, right? Because like you have like so many different cultures, I feel, all coming together. Like in this league, like you have quite a few Slovakians that play one way, where it's more like football, where it's puck possession, not dumping it in, and then the English play more a North American style, where it's straight lines, dumping it in, you know, finish your hits kind of thing. Yeah. So I think that transition from North American to English hockey kind of made it a little easier, where the playing styles are so similar. Yeah. So it wasn't too big of an adjustment coming over here.
Fair play. And what about yourself? What have you been wondering that you wanted to fire at Matt in regards to the import situation?
I said before this podcast, and also I'm going to try and stay quiet.
No, don't be quiet. Be diplomatic. I think that's the word we're looking for.
Don't say anything. Don't get in trouble.
Yeah,
that's it. I just got, it's got to be tough, obviously being away from home, moving around, going to somewhere that essentially you don't know anyone. It's completely different.
The food sucks.
The food sucks. I did want to touch on the food, actually. I'm a big foodie at the minute. I did want to touch on the food. We'll get into that later. We'll stick to the professional side of things.
Yeah.
It's got to be tough, just moving somewhere where really you have no idea what to expect. You have no idea what you're coming into. Because let's be honest, did you even hear of the Raiders before you?
No.
No. There you go. So you had no idea what you was coming into.
Yeah.
Wasn't you in a hotel for the last couple of weeks?
No.
Was you straight in the house?
I got here after that. Oh, right. That whole thing was going down.
Right, so you're straight into a completely new house. It's got to be tough, if not definitely weird.
Yeah, it's obviously coming to a brand new country too. Like it's totally different. Like
Have you been to England before?
No, I've never been to Europe.
That's
so,
insane.
Yeah.
And then Romford of all places.
Yeah, so
That's not me taking a shot at Romford.
It's a nice place.
Listen, I grew up in East London. I grew up in Newham, so you can't do that.
Wow.
I'm allowed to say that.
Wow.
I'm allowed to say that. I grew up in
Wow.
Newham. I grew up in Newham. Went to Langdon School before people go mad in the comments.
So,
Now, before we get any further into the video, a big thank you and shout out to the sponsor of this video, BladeTech Hockey. Now, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you've definitely seen videos of BladeTech Hockey on this channel. They're the #1 runners we use, not only because of the sick customization options that they offer, not only because of the performance benefits that they offer, but also because of the health benefits that their runners have. Now, unlike any other runners out there, BladeTech runners have Flex Force technology, which is where the front portion of the skate blade flexes into the holder of the skate during your stride, and as you extend your foot and complete your stride, the blade springs back into place, kind of like the pop on your hockey stick or the flex on your hockey stick. This provides you with an increase in foot speed and power, but more importantly, it allows you to more efficiently transfer your energy on the ice. Now, scientifically, these runners are proven to increase your speed by roughly 5.5%. In addition to this, your muscles will fatigue slower, you'll expend less energy on the ice, allowing you to have more energy towards the end of the game. Now, onto the most important benefit of BladeTech runners, and it's not the customization options that they have, which are countless, it's going to be the health benefits. Similar to trainers or sneakers that you see in basketball and running, BladeTech runners help to cushion your knee joints and hip joints to reduce the likelihood of impact injuries. Now, in terms of the harsh movements and motions we make on the ice, hard stops, tight turns, pivots, these runners are going to help to reduce those force impacts by 20%. Now, if you want to check out more information on BladeTech runners, see all the different customization options that they have, I'll link down below a bunch of videos that we've shot on them in the past, and also a link to BladeTech Hockey's website. A big thank you to BladeTech for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the show.
Like I was used to kind of like the whole like having to live with new people. Like in junior, you're living with built families, so you're having to kind of get thrown right into some random person's family, right? So.
Yeah.
And then going to a different province, you know, having to kind of get used to, because every province kind of have like different characteristics,
of course, yeah,
of people. So like getting used to that in Saskatchewan, where like Manitoba and Saskatchewan are similar, but there's still a bit of a difference there. And then obviously going off to school, now you're living on your own and having to make friends. You know, like you're thrown into having to live with 4 random people and then having to become friends with them. So I think that whole transition of it made it a little less scary, where it was kind of like, okay, I'm used to having to meet new people and live with random people and having to, you know, get used to all that.
Yeah.
But coming to a whole different country, like that was, I think the biggest thing was, you know, even I got a ride from the airport and the taxi driver had my stuff and he's like, oh, like we'll take the lift. I was like, no, like there's an elevator right here. He's like, no, like they're the same thing.
Okay.
You know, like it's just like
Terminology.
stuff like that. Yeah. So that took a bit of getting used to, but overall, like it was a pretty quick transition, which helped in large part to the fact that it's the same language on top of that.
Yeah, that's helpful.
So yeah.
Depends what part of England you go to.
That's fair. I never understand anything people say from Liverpool. Like, I have no idea what they're saying, and I live in England. But what I wanted to ask you is, what do you think has been like the most challenging aspects of relocating to the UK and living and playing here?
Just trying to stay in touch with like friends and family back home. Obviously, like the time change, that's a big one. I honestly think like that's really about it. Like I've loved my time here. Like there haven't been too many negatives. I think it's just mostly just trying to maintain those relationships with, you know, trying to balance everything where, you know, you get home after practice and all your friends are just getting off of work or school and like you want to go to bed, but at the same time you want to stay up and talk to them. So like I think that part of it's kind of a little challenging, but other than that, it's been good.
That's good. And when we look at the actual playing, what are the major differences that you noticed there? Of course, you said that the style of play is quite similar because the UK kind of mirrors the way it's played in North America, where you're from. But what elements have you picked up on that's different in terms of like just being on the ice, the communication between the players, and also the players that you're playing against, and also what it's been like in the locker rooms? What's that energy been like here versus what you experienced back home?
I think on ice, like I just feel like there's a lot more liberties taken almost compared to what I'm used to. Like there's a lot more hits from behind, hits to the head, knees, like little things like that don't necessarily happen as much back home, I find. But obviously having the fighting kind of keeps guys honest, but it's tough too with the rules out here, where if you fight someone that's not willing to drop their gloves, all of a sudden now you're sitting for 2 games, right? So it's kind of like, well, they can hit you, you want to fight, they don't want to, and then you're coming out on the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
So that part I've found kind of tough, even though obviously if anyone's watched, I haven't fought this year.
Yeah.
But but it's just one of those things that I find that's challenging. But
I was going to ask you about that. Obviously, the reffing here compared to where you're from has to be not massively different.
Yeah, like I just feel like there's differences in the rules, which was tough. That when I first got over here, that I kind of realized, obviously back home you have 3 seconds to finish your hit, where after someone moves the puck, whereas here I was still doing that and I was getting called for penalties right off the get-go, right? And then refs were telling me, well, that's a North American rule, you can't do that here, so I think that part of it was kind of challenging at the start. And even stick work, battles, obviously I kind of using my stick to be able to dictate where players are going to go in battles, and that's kind of something that's I've struggled with over here, because they'll call it a lot tighter over here than back home.
Yeah.
So I've had to change my game a little bit because of it, but
They're a lot softer over here, basically.
yeah.
Okay, fair. There's Tommy just
Definitely going to get a call this weekend.
no
And
fair.
we're not getting any penalties.
Just step on the ice, straight misconduct.
Fair. And what about in the locker rooms? What's that like? And side question as well, being a North American player on British ice, what's that like?
Like the actual ice?
No.
Just in general.
I mean,
I was going to say, be careful. Very sensitive about his ice over there.
Romford's got the best ice in the league.
There we go. That's what Barry likes to hear. But no, just what's it been like being on the ice as an American player? Obviously, you're on the ice with predominantly British guys. Of course, you've got a few Europeans in there as well, maybe some Scandinavians. But what's the energy been like for you when the Brits know that you're an American player, stroke Canadian player? Speaking on behalf of the whole of North America, in this instance, how does that reflect on you on the ice?
Like, you mean in the sense of just how I'm treated, or
Yeah.
I think obviously, every team's imports are kind of, they're top guys, so teams are going to clue in on them a little more, so they'll be a little more physical. Might shadow you a little more than other players, but for the most part, it's hasn't been too big of a change. So
Okay, fair play. And now the locker rooms. Why are you smiling?
we've got a good group of guys.
I was gonna say, yeah.
So it's a lot of energy.
So the change room's never boring.
No, there's always something going on, always jokes, always laughs. I was shocked because I haven't practiced that late in the evening. I think we practiced at 9:30 and 9:45, so I haven't done that since I was 15, 14. So to go to that for the first few weeks, and I was half asleep coming in.
Sorry, what's that? Can you hear that? It's from there. Sounded like it was interference, didn't it?
I thought it was a fire truck.
That was weird. Is that still running okay? It sounded like something was like static or something, didn't it? Anyway, sorry, go on. The training times.
Yeah, so obviously, haven't done that since I was super young, so I was coming in half asleep, and I was always making jokes with our captain, Aaron, that, it's the time change, I'll get used to it, whereas, these guys are getting off of work, and, they're coming with full of energy and, jokes and everything, so that's kind of taken a while to get used to, but now it's totally fine, so.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. The training times. Obviously, like hockey in the UK, it's natural that it's played late at night because rinks here are busy doing other things during the day,
Yeah.
and hockey doesn't always get priority depending on what rink you're in. And I guess I didn't think about that. Whereas in North America, you guys get priority because
Yeah.
it's a hockey nation, so you get your pick.
I mean, I was gonna say, like, in juniors, especially like when you're a lot younger,
Yeah,
I can imagine that being so different because in the UK, I feel like you don't really get taught much. You're sort of just like, there's a park, there's a drill, off you go.
yeah,
Yeah.
Is that like that back home, or is it like this is how you shoot, this is how you should be skating?
So when I look back to like obviously like minor hockey, like you have coaches being like, okay, this is how you shoot, this is how you score, whatever it may be. But when you turn, I think it was 10, there's like a mandatory body checking session that you have to attend to be able to play. So that's kind of something that, you know, helps you learn how to kind of protect yourself at the next level. So then there's that, and then obviously I don't know what it's like out here, but there's ice year round back home, right? So during the summers, like you're always skating, like, you know, there's skill coaches that kind of come out, like in junior, like we had skill coaches coming out before, after practice to supplement kind of our practices on top of that. And then same at school, and like obviously like host, if it's an optional practice, then that's going to be more of a skill session instead of systems based and stuff like that. So we'll still do that with our optional practices, but it's kind of, there's less opportunity for players to develop, I feel, in this country, because like Tommy said, like you're skating maybe 2 times a week as a 15-year-old, whereas compared to back home, you have the chance to skate 7 days a week,
yeah.
plus outdoor ice or rinks back there too, right? So you have all the opportunity in the world.
Yeah, I think our coaches in England just sort of like, they don't actually teach you what you need to know for when you get older and play.
Yeah.
It's almost like, here's training, here's a bit of fun, and then if you really want to learn, you need to sort of either have something at home or do something on a public session that you need to find that works with school and God knows what else.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously, like you said, back home, you have that in with your training. That's just not like that here, which obviously explains why they're doing a hell of a lot better than we are.
Yeah, and of course I think because when you look at countries like Sweden that are much smaller in comparison to some of the other nations that play hockey geographically, yet you look at the caliber of players that they put out year on year, and it's about the systems that they teach and how they teach their kids to play hockey.
Yeah.
And I think obviously like Sweden versus Canada, I'm sure there can be similarities, but I'm sure there are a lot of differences as well. But I think the main thing is they have a structured system, and it's the same with where you grew up playing hockey. Like if you want to go and play for this league or this team, this is the process that you need to take to be able to get to that position, and if you're good enough, that's where you'll end up. Whereas the UK system, I feel, from what I've seen from the outside, speaking as an outsider, is way more fragmented. Like there's 17 different routes to take to get to the same destination, which I think makes it incredibly confusing for players to
absolutely,
like what to do and how to get there. And I think that's something that really shows when you have a player like yourself that's come from North America and is here, and it's just like, okay, now I see what's going on over here. But like, do you feel like that's accurate for me to say, Tommy?
Definitely. I don't think you ever sort of get, if you want to get here, this is how you need to do it.
Yeah.
Never. I never had anyone sort of sit me down and talk to me and go, if you want to get here, you need to do this. It was sort of always just me and my guard and my old man Frank parked on a board, and I was be shooting for 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then I'd be at a public session at least once a day, maybe every other day.
Yeah.
And that was how I sort of, got better throughout the years. But yeah, practice, I just remember it literally being, here's a drill, let's do 3-on-3 inside the neutral zone.
Yeah.
I mean, we still do that now.
Yeah, like stuff like that is good for like development and stuff like that, right? Like you watch the game now, like there's so many, like the game's played in small areas now.
Yeah.
So like to do things like that in practice, obviously, is really good, but there's got to be more to that. Like how do you, like a big thing that like I learned over the summer is how to pick up a rim off the boards. That happens how many times in a game, right? It happens once a shift almost, and those are the little skills that you have to work on that you don't necessarily get a chance to in practice, because you know, obviously as a coach, you're like, okay, I want to make a tape to tape pass in this situation
Yeah.
for the sake of the drill, which is obviously great. But at the end of the day, how many times are you picking up that rim? How many times are you picking up that bobble puck? And those are things that you get to work on during practice. So it's either, like you said, taking time afterwards or doing it on your own, because you're not going to get the same opportunities in practice.
Yeah. Fair play. And I think another one I really wanted to find out from you is, if we look at, like, we'll split it into groups of 3. Like, the 3 biggest perks, stroke advantages, things you enjoyed the most about the time that you've had playing hockey in the UK, and then the 3 that you would say that you didn't enjoy so much. Like, what would those be for yourself?
Obviously, the nice part about being over here is just, like I said, like, we practice 3 times a week. So at this point, you know, in my career, like, dedicated so much time to the sport, whereas now it's nice to kind of be able to still enjoy it, but not have it consume my life.
Yeah.
So that's been really nice. And obviously, like, the travel schedule is super nice. Like, obviously, like, going to Sheffield for a 7 o'clock puck drop and getting back at 3 sucks, but you're still in your own bed every night except 1 weekend this year. So
Yeah.
just being able to, you know, come home after games and sleep in your own bed, then have a home game the next day, that's been a really nice change too, whereas you're not on the road for a week or 2 at a time.
Yeah.
And then the challenging part is every rink's different sizes, it seems like. In our league anyways. I don't know exactly what it's like in the elite league, but, like, you go to Sheffield one night and then the next night you're playing in Slough and you have to totally change, like, your style of play, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's totally different. It totally changes not only, like, individually, like, your mindset, but, like, as a team as well. Like, it's tough. And then having to go into, you know, unfortunately Basingstoke won't be in the league next year, but then having to go into Basingstoke where, you know, there's a game that we played there that there was no lines painted.
Oh, wow.
So you're trying to figure out, okay,
I didn't even know that.
yeah. So it's kind of like, okay, well, now not only you're thinking about the game, but you're thinking, am I offside? I don't know where the blue line is. So, like,
Where
you
they
know,
What the hell? Are you being serious?
Where are they going to drop the puck? Because there's no, like...
You played a game without any lines on the
Oh,
ice?
it had to. There was literally, like, the linesman just about to see the lines. There was no actual
Dang.
dot to drop the puck on.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
So the liner had to, like, go over and be like, right, I'm going to drop it here.
yeah.
And then
So you're playing a league game on a pond hockey rink, basically.
Yeah, it was basically pond hockey that game. So.
It was rough. It was rough.
That's mental.
So there's challenges like that, right, where you're never going to see that back home. So, you know, I think
Oh my god.
I think it's honestly, like, the biggest difference and the biggest challenge has just been, like, having to adapt to different facilities
Yeah.
in the league. So
Okay, no, that's fair. That's fair. That kind of brings me onto this question. What have you seen and experienced here? So a rink with no lines on the ice. That's
Yeah.
one. What else have you experienced in the UK that just would not fly in Canada or the US?
Rink being held up by scaffolding.
getting dressed in a shipping container.
No.
That's Basingstoke.
Same rink.
Are you serious?
So hopefully they're kind of able to, you know, with the renovation.
Damn, sorry. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, sorry, go on.
So hopefully with the renovations they're putting in, you know, some of those things get rectified.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I heard Basingstoke used to be really nice back in
yeah, like it looks like it'd be like a very nice rink.
Yeah.
It's just on its last legs right now,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
from what I've heard, it's been a very nice rink back
The
in the
good
day.
thing about those types of rinks is that they have character
Yeah.
and they have a story
Mm-hmm.
and history, whereas, you know, some of the new rinks, like, I'm going to hate on my rink, not in a bad way, but like Cambridge Ice Rink, brand spanking new facility, but it doesn't have that history and that soul yet.
Yeah.
It's just like a empty shell,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Takes time for that to be able to develop. So it's, as much as I laugh, I do appreciate the older rinks, but what else have you seen in the UK that you just, in your head, you've just turned up and been like that, we can fly back home?
I'm trying to think what else. Well, that same game with no lines, we didn't get a flood before warm up, so there's about half an inch of snow, and you're trying to warm up for a game, and the puck's bouncing.
It's
So
a nice cut.
So I think that whole game in general was just like the one like moment where I was like, nah, you never see this back home.
What about that one game where the plexi broke in warm up?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah,
And it took them about an hour to change the plexi over.
Yeah, we were in Bristol and a piece of glass broke during warm up, like first minute in, and I'm thinking, okay, this will be like a 10-minute, delay. So we all get off the ice, and guys are like, no, it's not going to be 10 minutes. It's kind of like, what do you mean? Like, it's a quick fix. Well, they had no extra plexi, so they had to take that one down, and then they had to take another one out of the penalty box to put over there. So the whole thing probably took, 45 minutes, an hour?
45 minutes to an hour, yeah.
So, whereas back home, you have extra ones, you come, throw it in, and it's over within 10 minutes, right? So
They've experienced it before, let's be real. People who work in the rinks back home probably do that more times than, I don't know, change the boards at our place,
But again, it comes down to the way that it's run because, some rinks are privately owned here, some are literally just pure profit machines. They don't care about reinvestment.
Yeah.
So that's when it becomes complicated because, like what we experienced in Sweden is that the rinks are owned by the communities.
Okay.
And they're non-profit.
Yeah.
So all of the money goes back into developing the rink, back into providing equipment for kids to use, back into being able to pay for coaches and skills camps and blah blah blah. And when you see that, you're like, okay, now that makes sense why they're able to do what they do.
Yeah.
But I think the mentality and the shortcomings with the way a lot of things are run here, not by everyone, but by the majority, is there's no long game. Everyone wants what they're doing to pay now, but not later.
Yeah.
But if that was switched around, they would actually end up earning more in a long run than they would in a short run. But that's just not what people want to do. So it makes it complicated. And whereas things like that, like plexiglass, should just be able to be a quick fix because of the way things are put in place, it just isn't. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like a rink should be one of the most profitable things in terms of recreational activities in a city. But if they're not run properly and executed properly and marketed properly, then they never will be.
Yeah.
And you really do see the result of that when you go from rink to rink in the UK and you see who's got their shit together and who hasn't, and that that comes across when you visit the rink and you use that.
That's definitely a problem where we play at the Sapphire. It's just not marketed.
Yeah.
The amount of people you can walk around Romford and
don't know there's a rink.
Yeah, the amount
Same
the amount of time people are like you play ice hockey. I'm like, yeah, like I play for Romford. There's one around the corner.
Yeah.
I thought that was just a gym and a swimming pool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like advertise.
Yeah, but
it makes so much more money, not even just off the ice rink, but off the gym and the pool too.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be fair. Skating for a day is what, £10?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know what it's like back home, but it's like £10.
It's probably free in Canada. Oh wow.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, you have there's certain a lot of rinks will have like an hour locked off where it's called stick and puck and it'll be free or it'll be $5 and you show up and you have an hour and the ice will kind of be whatever, right? So
that's the difference though.
Yeah.
Bro, you have to pay £10 just to go out with your own skates and skate.
It's just how it is.
Do you know what I mean?
Obviously different countries, different demand for the facilities.
Yeah.
But another question I've been wondering about is when you come over here, what are the rules like in terms of who can you bring with you when you're coming to England for the season? Who can travel with you? Who can stay with you? On top of that, what equipment? What's the deal with equipment? How is it treated in this country versus North America? For example, are you allowed to use whatever skates you want, whatever stick you want, whatever gloves? What's that been like for you?
Yeah, so I think our team has a deal with Warrior.
Uh-huh.
So we have Warrior gloves and helmet, and then everything else you can kind of use whatever you want. So I've just used CCM at school, so that's what I'm comfortable with. So that's kind of what I've been using. But for the most part, you can kind of use whatever you want. And then for people coming over, thankfully, from Canada, we have good relationship with the government and everything like that. So my girlfriend's been out here all year, so she's allowed to stay for 6 months. And then, my parents haven't had the chance to come out, but I know my roommate's mom came out for a bit, and it was nice for him to obviously have her out here. And my girlfriend's mom came out for a week or so. So yeah.
It sounds pretty flexible.
Yeah, it's super easy.
And what about back in North America? The teams that you've played for then, what have the rules been like with the gear that you're using? Is it similar to here, or is it a little bit more free reign, or is it more tight-knit?
So in junior, we were Sherwood for my 4 years, so we had Sherwood gloves, pants, helmets, sticks.
Jealous.
So
Jealous.
that was, as my 4 years went on, the technology obviously with them kept getting better and better and better, and I haven't used one since, so I can't really comment on it. But
Yeah.
by my last year, like, I loved all the Sherwood stuff. And then at school we were with CCM, so same thing: gloves, helmet, pants, sticks. And then we kind of just got whatever the team supplied for us. So I think we had like jet speed sticks for my whole 4 years. Like, kind of, I think we used the whole jet speed line there. And then when I went to the coast, I'm not too sure if the whole league sponsored by Warrior or most of the teams. But so then there we got, you know, same thing, just helmet, gloves, pants, sticks, Warrior, and then you could use whatever for skates, kind of thing. So
Fair play. I was interested because I know that some teams have quite tight rules on what they want you to be seen with on the ice.
Yeah.
I was just curious about what that was like. I think another really important one, and it's kind of like leads into the title of the video. If other players that are going to be in a similar position one day to yourself that have an opportunity to go overseas to play for a team, what would you say are the like 5 things they must know? Whether they're just like tips or whether they're pointers or like things that you need to look out for, what would you say that those would be for yourself?
Anyone in Romford?
I think the biggest thing is do your research. Like, obviously, like, you know, it helps tremendously to have an agent,
Yeah.
but you have to do your own research at the end of the day. Like, me and my buddy got offered something in another country back, like,
No names, I'm guessing.
yeah, no,
Fair.
but it obviously turned out to be a scam, and the team released a statement about it and everything. But, you know, like, if we hadn't looked into it, we would have been out money right off the get-go, right? And then there's obviously, you hear a lot of teams not paying players, so that's obviously something else to kind of look out for.
Yeah.
But so I think the number one thing is just do your research. There's a lot out there, obviously. You know, it helped knowing coming here that our coach coaches GB UV teams. Okay, well, that's probably a reliable kind of source of that. It'll probably be, you know, decently run.
Yeah.
So it's kind of looking at things like that. How many imports they brought in the past? Have they lasted the whole year? Why didn't they last the whole year?
Yeah.
If they didn't. So I think that's kind of the biggest one. Obviously, location. You could get an amazing offer in a country, and it might be, you know, northern, not accessible to many, you know, other places.
Yeah.
And you're kind of stuck up there. Obviously, like, the main reason you're there is for hockey, but if you're not going to be happy with where you're living, then what's the point?
Of course.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
So I think that's another thing, is make sure, like, this, you know, you're going to be okay with living in a town of 20,000 people in a northern part of the country, for example, you know.
That's good. So
think.
do your research, check the location. Yeah, that's gold, man.
Yeah.
Again, this is stuff that I wouldn't have even considered if I was looking into something like this. It'd just kind of be like, what's the team like? What's the vibe like?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's kind of like where you'd be at. But yeah, those are good. Anything else you can think of?
And like, it really doesn't hurt to ask questions, like, you know, if the team's going to be, you know, supplying you with a car or a bike, or like, what's the gym like just like asking general questions that like you wouldn't even think of, like, does the team like have any discounts with restaurants, like little things like that like make such a big difference in the long run.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really about it.
Okay, fair.
Check the town and you pick Romford.
Hey,
We're 33 minutes already. What? I didn't catch what you said.
You said check the town and you end up in Romford.
Yeah. No, Romford's fine.
it's not bad. It's close to London. Nice rank.
Yeah.
Really not too much to complain about, really.
There you go.
Team house is only 10 minutes away. That's another thing, you know. Ask what the living conditions are going to be like beforehand. Ask for pictures, like,
Yeah.
that could be a big one, right? Like,
Yeah.
I've heard of guys, you know, they'll be living in a
Sorry,
studio.
ambulance going past.
Oh, nice.
There we go. that was wrong, that'd have been a police car, right?
Fact. Either that or someone's been stabbed. That's why the ambulance is there.
Sorry, go on. Ask for photos to check what the living conditions are like.
I've heard of guys, having, little studio apartments where, their sink's a foot away from the foot of their bed. Hotels, like, so that's something else to kind of, make sure you ask about, just to make sure that you're gonna be happy with the arrangements and everything.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
It's basically just almost double checking everything before you agree to something.
Yeah.
Because it's a big commitment to uproot yourself and relocate. And obviously massive for you as well, because you hadn't even been to the UK in the first place. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you came here to live here for essentially a year and play here without ever having been here before.
Yeah.
So yeah, you need to do your background to make sure that you're going to be happy with the setup that you walk into.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think from there as well, another one is what's next? Like, is your plan to head back to North America, or would you consider playing for another team in Europe, or do you want to do another season here? Like, what's next for yourself?
I really don't know what's kind of next. I'd like to be back, but we'll kind of see what all comes about. Be going home once the season's done, back to Canada, and kind of try to figure out what next year's going to bring.
Yeah.
So.
All right. And side note, if you had the option to play for a team in any country in Europe, is there any location you'd like to hit up based on what you've heard, what you've read, what you've researched? Is there like a ideal, if this could happen, this would be sick at some point in my career?
I know a lot of guys that have played in Germany and Austria, and they've loved their time there.
Yeah, Austria's a vibe.
Yeah.
That country is unreal.
Yeah. So I've heard really good things about those two countries. Obviously with the Croatian background, like, I'd love to play there.
Oh, you had to see that online. You're half Croatian.
Yeah.
That's nuts, dude.
So, that would always be something that would interest me as well. But yeah, those are obviously, like, you see videos of, like, the SHL in Sweden. Obviously, I'll never be there, but, like, you see videos, like, of what the fans are like there, and, like, it's unbelievable, right? So I think every country kind of has its own atmosphere, but for me, it'd probably be, like, the three that I kind of mentioned.
Yeah. No, that's fair. No, I get that. We spent a bit of time in Austria at the Red Bull Academy.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen anything.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I saw a YouTube video about their facilities.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Never took me that one, did he?
No, I didn't take you to that one. But we are supposed to be doing with them again at some point. We're meant to do something in 2020 and 2021, but because of COVID, they were really tight about access to the facility. And of course, you had to be fully vaccinated and blah blah blah. That's a whole other story that we could.
Ain't me, bro. Ain't me, bro.
I'm not anti-vax. I just didn't get vaxxed. That's another story. But no, I appreciate that, Matt. Thanks for sharing insight into what it's been like. I think a lot of players would be very curious. I know I've been as well, because I have a lot of friends that are from Czech, or they're from Slovenia, Slovakia, and they've played for teams in the UK. But I've never really sat down and asked them, like, what's the process been like? Like, what are the things that you miss the most? Actually, that's the point. Before we wrap, what are the things that you miss the most about back home?
Like, just life?
Yeah.
Gotta be the food, surely.
I mean, you got your girl here. That's a
Yeah.
big plus.
Yeah.
Like, that's a massive plus.
It's gotta be the
What I
food.
miss from back home?
Food here sucks.
In 99.9% of places, it does. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
I haven't had any, like, real English food, so
Don't.
I can't comment on that.
Don't.
Flavorless.
Flavorless.
But that's the thing. Like, you do notice that in the States, and also in Canada as well. Like, the quality of the meat. I don't know what you guys are pumping your cows with, but like it's like.
Bro, that one
it's like
we had when we went away.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, like,
so much flavor.
yeah, it's different back home. With the whole-
You're so polite. It's different.
I honestly like it better here though.
Yeah?
Just like with, like, I don't want to get into the whole farming stuff and all that,
Less
but it's
crap.
just yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
So I have felt like my body's felt a lot better over here, but honestly, I don't miss the winters. Still have
Really?
No, there's still like 3 feet of snow back home.
I'd be okay with that.
I don't know, bro. That'd be like half of me. I'd be screwed.
Another ambulance.
You see?
Oh wow, back to that.
I'd be screwed, bro.
You got ripped in that last video about your height. Like, I don't know what's going on with people.
I know,
The
man.
comments like, these people are trolls.
I know.
Yeah, I feel bad for you, but I'm basically the same height as you, so I can't. I said that multiple times.
What can you do, bro? Eh?
But sorry to jump in, Matt.
Still hit a 101, didn't I? So
Apparently.
it didn't count it though. You see that? It didn't count it.
It doesn't count.
He robbed
Faulty
me.
radar gun.
Gary's like, should have given us booster seats.
I would have taken it, but you see.
I'm not that sure. But sorry, you don't miss the winters.
Don't miss the winters.
So you're not like a fan of being out in the snow, like pond hockey, like playing outdoor? No.
I like that part of it, but
Yeah.
it's just like the day to day, like having to drive through it, or like waking up and having to start your car 5 minutes before and taking the snow off the windows, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine like when we went away to Sweden, it was a little bit snowy.
Yeah, that we on the
And
tail
the
end.
amount of times we nearly fell over.
Oh, yeah.
Walking on the ice, it was a joke. You'd think we'd never been near ice before.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
And that was just when we landed. That was before anything.
Anything. For the madness.
we don't need to go into that.
Yeah.
But we was falling over just straight off the train. Like,
I do get it. I think
I
it's
can
because it's a
imagine.
novelty. Like for us, like we fly to Sweden and Finland to play pond hockey,
Yeah.
and then fly back.
Yeah.
So we're there enjoying the winter for like a minute compared to like obviously growing up there and having to deal with it every single day.
Yeah.
But I just think of like snow days and stuff like that, and I'm like, how is that not a vibe? Do you know
Oh,
what I
yeah,
mean?
it's- yeah.
I can't leave anyway.
I can see how it can be ag.
Yeah.
You got to think, like, imagine trying to walk through snow that's like up here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I'll
I've
just
never seen
stand,
snow.
I'd just stay there. I just won't move. I'd be like, no, I can't bother.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Because I'd have to basically swim for it. Let's be real.
No, I get it.
One thing I want to touch on.
Go on.
I'm a gear guy.
Yeah.
Favorite stick, favorite pair of skates, favorite gloves ever. Maybe in my time, so I can sort of touch it.
Favorite skates are probably, that's a tough one. Probably have to go with, have right now the FT4s?
Yeah, good choice.
Probably those ones.
Good choice.
That works for our channel sponsor.
Yeah.
Thanks to CCM for I'm joking.
Good choice. Good choice.
Stick? It's a tough one because I used the jet speed for 4 years and I really liked it, but I think I might. You're not gonna like me for this one, but
Say Warriors.
I might have to go with the Warrior Novi. That I only had it for a month, but
Then it broke?
Yeah. In fairness, I got slashed, so.
I had a worry if I'm off and it broke. Classic.
But so I think that honestly, I'm trying to think back. That might be my favorite stick I've used.
Is that ones from teams though? Have you had any sort of variety in sticks?
No, because teams like I said, like in the coast we had Warrior Alphas, but only the top end guys get the top end sticks. So I was getting the second, third one from the top, and they're okay. And then at school we're using jet speed team sticks. So those are still good sticks, but they're obviously not the top of the line ones.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm wondering, where does so if you had an option to use the Trigger 7 that you've been using recently, would you take that over the Warrior, or would you be like, I'd have the Warrior? Because obviously, if you have the option to use whatever you want,
Yeah.
would you still go? I'm gonna go buy a Warrior. Because that's the question. If
If you're paying for it.
if you're paying for it and it's your own money, would you go and pick
privileged
that
people.
one? No, but you know what I mean. I wouldn't spend my own money on something that's either going to break,
Yeah.
or I'm not going to be comfortable in. That's what I always say in the videos. If I'm paying for it, I'm going for this one.
Yeah, I feel like I said, I've been a CCM guy, so I feel like if I'm going out to buy a stick, it'd probably be, I don't even know what the new one, what would be the equivalent of a jet speed be?
The
FT5.
FT5.
So it'd be
The FT6 ain't out yet, bro. It comes out very soon.
Okay, so
currently.
Sorry, okay.
Currently.
FT5.
So it'd be, so that's what I'd be looking for, would be an FT5.
So a jet speed fan. You're
Yeah.
a big jet speed fan. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough. Jet speed has been a good range for me also in the past. Obviously not right now. You're not using.
Was that a dig?
No, not a dig at all. No, I mean
I'm surprised you don't have a. Is that a true hat?
that is a true hat.
Oh wow.
Bro, I guess I have been. I'm hoping that maybe the new skates coming out, the new stick line coming out,
Yeah.
can sort of pull me. It needs to be massive to get me away from my true skates. I can't praise them enough. Every person that asks me about them, there's only one thing they can change to make them better.
Wait.
The design, bro.
Oh, okay.
Wait, two.
wait a little bit, but then like,
don't really-
But then you're losing a part
that's
of
what I mean.
the skate,
The
right?
protection. You're losing
Yeah.
the protection. Like,
And the comfort, all them layers.
I got a terrible pass. I don't know if it was by, and it was like back here, and like I kicked it, like just put my leg back and hit it, and everyone said, "Did you not feel that?" Like, no, did not feel it. I didn't even know where the puck went.
Fair.
Like that's just it's.
Well, skates.
If they change the design a little bit to where they can be like Barra and CCM,
You have what you want.
where you
Colours
have
and
what you
blah,
want.
blah.
Yeah, that's the only reason people would go to Barra and CCM. I put
That, no,
money
I do
on it.
agree. I do agree. It's they just need to make it as an option. Obviously, they've gone for like what they've done is like create like a thoroughbred skate, which is like it
They've
does
gone-
exactly what it says on the box.
Yes,
But
they've
they're
gone
like, we
for
don't care about
comfort and
Like,
protection.
you pick, I want a purple skate. It's like no, just get a skate that fits you right that you're not going to think
Yeah.
about on the ice.
Yeah.
But you need to offer the customization as well. 'Cause
Absolutely.
That's what's going to sell it to
So that's what they've
players
gone
that
for.
don't need it.
Yeah,
like me.
CCM and Barra have gone. You can have pretty colours. They can look exactly how you want. You can have your number and your initials on it.
That's a big deal.
Whereas True have gone. They will fit you. They will be comfy and they will protect you.
Yeah.
That's it.
But it's completely different selling points, and that's again
Absolutely.
what separates them so
Yep.
hard from all of the other
Absolutely.
brands that are out there. But
But-
I don't want to go on a tangent.
We were saying in the car like my CCMs look way better than my Shrews.
Yeah.
I still pick my Shrews.
Yeah, because they're more
Because it's so comfortable.
Yeah, no, I get it. No, I get it. And so for you, that would be favorite skates right now.
Oh, absolutely, hands down.
All time, yeah?
Hands down.
SVH.
SVH, yes.
Okay. And what about stick?
I'm really liking the Trigger 7 65 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even more than the X9.
At the minute, yeah.
9X, X9, 9X.
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 At the minute, yeah, I'm using my Trigger 7.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, really happy with my Trigger 7.
And did you do gloves? Did have both of you done?
No,
gloves?
he hasn't done gloves yet. I'm interested in the gloves.
Gloves. I might just have to go CCM as well.
Yeah. hold on.
Like I used them for 4 years.
The jet speeds or the tax?
I don't even know what we had.
Were they loose or tight?
Tight.
Jet
It was
speeds.
jet speeds. we had the 4 rolls my first year and I really liked them, but I feel like once you go, for me anyways, once I go to like a tighter fit, there's
Yeah.
no going back kind of thing. So I like the tighter fitting stuff, so
Yeah.
I think that's kind of my preference.
I think that's definitely 4 rolls are definitely more like loose and sort of you need to get them off quick almost.
Yeah, which I don't need.
Not me either. Maybe you can get a drink or something on the bench. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't. So jet speeds.
Yeah.
Good choice. Good choice.
Fair play. Fair play.
Sherwood's for me. I love my Sherwood
We
codes.
said that. We said that a
My
lot.
codes.
Yeah, you said that a lot. I flip too much to even decide. I'm not too bothered about sticks. Skates is my thing. Eastern Mako if it's over like forever.
Really? Yeah.
Skates like overall would be Eastern Mako just like in terms of like a retail skate. Those were way ahead of their time.
Yeah.
Oh, we got
Oh,
retail skate. I went custom.
No, I just went. I
Oh,
went
okay.
just overall. Obviously, custom. I've not really
Doesn't
used.
put his custom skates on.
Yeah, I've not really used it. I told you I'm waiting for the bows, and then
You're
I'll
such a
do them.
liar.
I'll do them.
Let's get done then, bro.
We will.
Let's
We'll
get
get it done.
done.
I'm gonna have to move it.
No worries, Gary.
What do I do? Just move it up somewhere else?
So come off of Pond Hill and then park on Northampton Street, which is the street that you'll turn onto. If you come out, and
Where
turn
you was
left-
before.
If you come out and turn left, there'll be parking on the left and the right hand side. Yeah.
Let's get it done then, because I'm interested in that video. I'm sure a lot of people are.
What do we do? We'll start with the tree. We're getting on a tangent. This will be another video. We'll save that for another video. But yeah, we'll do it.
We'll talk about it after the video,
Yeah.
because I'm
We'll chat about it
intrigued.
afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else on the subject of being an import? What it's like in the UK? just trying to rein it back. We digress.
No, I mean, I was just going on a bit of a gear talk.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've had your fair share of helmets. Still CCM? Do you use CCM bucket, or you liking the warrior you're in?
I'd probably go CCM too.
CCM are loving
Yeah.
you right now.
Well, the thing
CCM
is,
are loving you right now.
It's like because we didn't. What do we use this time back? We had Bauer helmets. I think it was like the 5500s or something. And like those were okay, but once I got into, I don't even know what helmet those were. It was the ones after the V10s that came out.
I
don't
can't remember.
I can't remember
What,
that.
but was
but-
it Bauer?
No, CCM.
CCM?
I can't remember, but
What colour it was?
well, we had green ones
Ooh.
for the team. So
I was gonna say the oldest helmet I remember was the Resistance.
Yeah, that's not that old.
Is it not?
No, that's one of my favourite helmets.
I think
That's my favourite
I think that might have been the one.
CCM Resistance.
Yeah.
The one
Yeah.
with the gel bladder.
Yeah.
ones.
Oh,
Yeah,
mate,
yeah,
that's
the-
unreal.
yeah.
My favourite helmets. I've still got one in red.
Yeah, I've got one in white.
Yeah.
I would say that's my second favourite helmet.
Yeah, it's nice.
My custom has to be my
Tax.
favourite.
Yeah.
It's just not even.
And the X.
Yeah, the custom X is just next level.
Not fair.
Doesn't even come close.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's got to feel quite weird. That like not even a dig. It's got to feel weird. Like just straight on
It feels
here.
nice, man. It's like a honeycomb structure. I can't explain it. It's like a massage.
Oh, fair enough.
It feels good.
I would have thought it felt weird.
No, it feels
No?
good.
Oh, okay. That wasn't even a dig. That was a genuine question.
It's fine. I'm used to it. It's okay.
It was a question.
Just dump on me on the podcast. It's all good. But no,
Hey, you dumped on me all last video for my height.
Okay, that,
I'll take that. But no, I think that's it. Anything else you want to go over?
No.
Main questions? All right. But no, thank you very much for joining us on this one, jumping in the video, sharing a bit of insight into what it's been like playing over here. It's going to be interesting to see what you decide on for the next season.
yeah.
But as always, man, just wish you the best. And hopefully you'll be around, because I'm not going to lie, if you did read the comments in the last video, people want to see a lot more videos with you in them. Like, I'd love to do, like, the stick reviews, the new FT6 range, for example. It'd be good to get you in on that, but obviously it depends on where you'll be at that time.
Yeah.
But if you're about, let's make it happen.
Absolutely. No, thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.
Matt's a jet speed fan, so he's down for that.
For sure, man, for sure. But yeah, I'll put the social links down below. Are you cool with people following you, or do you like to keep your social private?
It's fun to follow me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll link your Instagram down below, and if you guys want to check out Matt's profiles, and of course Tommy's, will be down there as well. But yeah, thanks for watching, and take care till the next one. Peace.